Hey, the regular season of Mlb Dfs is coming to a close. We got 4 days left, and they're breaking out the big bats today. We got BigT and JSU talking some baseball today. Wonderful to be with you, boys. What's up, JSU? Doing all right there, pal? Everybody's quiet before the show. We're just listening to the captain ramble on. It was so nice to listen to the captain. But there we go. We got a smile out of BigT. Look at that. What's going on, guys? Are we just tired from the football? JSU, come on, baby. Show me the energy.
That it's, I had to just listen to Captain ramble on for a little bit just to get myself going. I had to get a few swigs of water in me. I'm good though now. I'm ready to go. But yeah, it's good to get on and talk some baseball with you guys. And hopefully we can continue the success that, I had going in from last week. Hopefully we can keep that going this week.
I mean, this is the last chance. I think this is the last time the three of us can work during baseball season. So, BigT, I need another big day. Who's today's San Francisco Giants from like a month ago? I need the call today. Don't give me this Naquin rough garbage. I want the $10 million lineup is what I want. How the hell are you, man? You okay?
I'm doing good. Yeah. I mean, Tuesdays, I'm always a little low on energy. Tuesdays is now that football goes through Mondays. You got to ramp me up on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I get a little tired, so we need winners to boost my spirits.
Do you want me to take my shirt off?
Yeah, I mean, I'll call your bluff right now. Take that puppy off. There we go. Yeah, look at those pecs.
Yeah, I'm looking sexy these days, guys.
I mean, that was
to be
a
honest
snap
with you, I'm
call.
looking
I
pretty
like
good.
the snap call.
I've had nothing better to do.
Captain just got a call from YouTube. They're taking this video off right now.
That was some firm pecs.
Are we ready to roll now? You saw my nipples. Let's do this.
They weren't saggy at all, though. They were nice and
No, they're
firm.
not saggy. No, they're not saggy. For my age,
there was no move action.
Yeah, I cut the belly down. I'm looking sexy. I'm feeling good again.
How's it been out on the market? Has it been successful out on the market yet?
Yeah, 28-year-old yesterday. It was wonderful.
They're doing good then.
18 years less than me. All right, let's get to this. Let's get into this baseball slate here. Enough of my nipples.
Yeah, good, because you're getting people to leave the chat right now. We need people to stay in the chat. We got 90. All right, we're going there. We're getting there.
All right, how many dislikes?
No, none yet.
Exactly.
If any time during the show we were going to get a dislike, how is it not that time? Like, what is going on right now, people?
Well, BigT said he needed a little motivation. I got
excited. I'm going to be honest. Like, you snap called me, you ripped the shirt off. That got the job done for me.
Don't mess with me. I'll do it.
I didn't think you would, and you snap called. I like that.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
And I just hoped you wouldn't, Holden? Like one or the other. Like he didn't think you would, and I just hoped you wouldn't.
This is a nice package here. Come on,
Holden,
you should do it too, JSU.
Are we bringing the 28-year-old?
There we go. We got a dislike. Boom.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Now we can start this show.
Holden, are we bringing the lady to watch the Nuggets game somewhere tonight? The new 28-year-old.
No, she's not. She was a one-time deal. I finally told her I had 2 kids when we were done, and that was the end of it. I knew that would end it. She's stupid. I didn't want to deal with her. She's dumb. All right, so JSU, give me your rundown on the pitching here. Just general thoughts on the pitching for this slate, because it doesn't really seem – I'm not very comfortable with too many guys. Should I be?
I mean, not really. So I think that this slate is going to come down to, like, how is your pitching construction? Do you want to pay down for 2 pitchers? Do you want to pay up for 2 pitchers? Is it like pay up, pay down on Draftkings where you're going up and down? I think personally, some of these pitchers at the top, in my opinion, I don't think they're great. And I think I can find guys with some upside as we get into the mid-tier where I don't know if I want to pay $9K plus for some of these guys, even though Davies has been pitching well this season. I don't want to, I don't know if I want to pay for him. We can kind of talk about him a little bit. Valdez gets a good matchup against Seattle. He's the guy who I think if I'm going to pay up, I'll take the matchup against Seattle. We got Blake Snell on the slate. Again, though, just hasn't really shown that huge upside that I'm looking for at 9,500. Like, I don't know. And then Dustin May, another guy where he's just, again, not showing the upside for 9,300. I just don't think I can pay these price tags for most of these guys up here. Besides maybe Valdez, And I think we can find some mid-tier options, with at least some upside where they can get me 20 points on this slate. I know last time out, Singer had a huge game for me. I had a bunch of Singer. He had a really strong game against Detroit. He gets a matchup against St. Louis. It's not Detroit, but still, I mean, he's 6,900 and going against at home, 2 solid outings, 8 Ks in both outings. I mean, I don't know, 6,900. He showed me, at least in the last 2 games, just as much upside as any one of these pitchers at the top.
Yeah, that's a great point that you make too. And I mean, he shut down the Indians. It was nice. The problem is, I'm looking at Singer here. Like, that was the one game that he had. Singer's an interesting one that sticks out here. Hey, Big T, give me a rundown of the pitching slate here. Like, I can't imagine many people are going to go to Davies considering he's the highest priced. Nobody's going to own him. What if he has a good game?
How come every time us three do a show, Davies is the 10K?
Why do we have the same pitchers? I feel like every time we get on and talk, it's crazy.
I've said the same thing about Davies every time we're on a show together, but like, he keeps doing good though. I mean, last start he had a bad start and he still got 12 DraftKings points. That was a bad start for him. I mean, you can't play him. I don't know why the DraftKings algorithm just absolutely loves him. I mean, I think he might do fine again. I mean, he's held up all season, so I think he could do good, but I'm not going to play him, obviously. Yeah, Framber against Seattle is going to be kind of the popular guy up top with Snell. And, I mean, they're both good plays, kind of like JSU said, but I don't know if you need to spend up. If we find some cheap off, because it is a big slate, though, so – if we find some cheap offense, I wouldn't be opposed to those guys, but I'm not playing May. I'm not playing Frankie Montas. I'm definitely working my way down.
I think it's definitely one of those slates, too, where, we always talk about when we got, like, the studs on the slate, like, taking 2 stud pitchers and then just finding stacks that are cheap to fill out with them when you got 2 stud pitchers. This isn't the slate where I want to pay up for two players at the top, that's for sure. If I was taking one, maybe, and like I said, it'd probably be Valdez, but I don't know. I think it might be 2 mid-tier or cheap pitchers for me today as the construction.
Tony, is Lugo even an option? Smiley? I mean, Smiley's out there. I can't imagine Smiley's going deep in this game, though. What did he pitch, like 70, 75 pitches in his last start? And I don't even know if he's going this far tonight. Either one of those guys on your radar?
Yeah, so, I mean, another thing with baseball and me is I trust the projections with pitchers, and I like to look around the industry, look at a bunch of different projections, and just see where they're at. And one that I can't believe Lugo's projection today, like 21 and a half. And it's the one sport I can honestly say, like, when I see one that is way too high, I usually just play them and trust the projection more than I trust what I see, just because it's baseball. Numbers mean the most, honestly, with pitchers, like the matchup, the strikeouts. DeGrom struck out 14 yesterday in this same – I know he's not Lugo. I'm not comparing the two guys. But the team struck out 14 times. There might be some hidden upside built into that. I like Lugo and Smiley for that matter. I mean, Colorado's a disaster away from home. Smiley's always been a strikeout guy. Yeah, he's not going to go deep, but he's a decent – he's 2K discount off those top guys. Similar projection from all of them. I definitely like Lugo. Those might be my 2 pitchers, honestly.
You know, it's interesting, JSU, because we were talking about, like, every time we're on, we're working with Big T, we're going high at pitcher because we got high-priced pitching, and then this whole slate is turned upside down. So before we get into individual plays, like, what do you think about this offensive slate as a whole? Because it seems to me like there's a lot of grossness and just a couple of hot spots, and I wonder if that's where all the ownership is just going to go on 3 or 4 teams again, but, like, really be concentrated.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a big slate. It's 11-game slate. Like, everyone always tries to kind of get pieces of different spots when there's so many games. So I don't really worry about it too much. I mean, it's not like we've got cores on the slate where, like Colorado's at home. They're playing San Francisco in San Francisco, so we don't have that. We're like, we know like everyone's picking that game. The Yankees aren't on this slate. The Yankees have been on fire the last week and a half or whatever. So I don't think it's going to be something crazy like that. Personally, I think it's going to be somewhat spread out a little bit because again, as much as I want to say, like, I just don't love the pitching on this slate, period. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if any one of these pitchers got shellacked. Seriously, outside of maybe like Davies, who's just been like decent all the way around. But other than that, I mean, even Valdez, who I think is my favorite pitcher at the top, if I had to pick one, again, like he's been smacked around in a few games this year. Like, it could happen even with Seattle. So nothing really, makes me that comfortable. We talk about Lugo, Tony talked about him and his projection. And yeah, I mean, in baseball, it makes sense. It's one sport where you definitely want to trust the projections a lot. But if you told me, I mean, they're playing Tampa Bay. If you told me that Tampa Bay definitely offensively has a shot to smack him around. Like, I don't mind that as a, contrarian low-owned stack. Now, I'm going to play some Lugo, but I'm just saying in large field tournaments, if you wanted to fade some chalk, if you're playing 150, I wouldn't hate going, taking Tampa Bay against the chalk pitcher.
All right, so let me get to a couple of things here before we get into the offenses. Hit the like button. We're at 49 now. This is not bad. We haven't even gotten to the offenses yet. So JSU will come up with the number here in a couple of minutes, but hit the like button. We're at 49 likes. Let's get that up here. Second, Dwayne Fortner in the chat goes, Baltimore Orioles for all the money. Dwayne, I just want you to know that there are 15 to 20 mile an hour winds blowing in from the Green Monster to first base. So that's not the best for hitting conditions. The Mets game tonight, 10 to 15 miles an hour, kind of blowing in too. And the wind is blowing out in San Francisco pretty heavy. But, I mean, we never really – I never feel like any condition is going to help San Francisco. These guys are either just going to murder the ball or they don't. So, T, let's get to you on the offensive side of the ball here. And it's the Cubs and the Pirates. The Cubs going up against Brault, the left-hander today. Any interest anywhere there? And do we just cross the Pirates off the list?
Yeah, the Pirates have been a team that this last week's going to be interesting with DFS just because some of these teams I think are going to really quit. I mean, they have nothing to play for, and they just want to be done with the whole COVID season and kind of just put it behind them. So if teams don't have anything to play for, I'm going to be more than willing to pick on them with pitchers and definitely not stack them. Pittsburgh's one of those teams that I just don't see it. I mean, these price points are good if you wanted to take a chance, but I don't know. I don't see it. And then the Cubs, I mean, the opposite. They should at least be like, where are they at in the standings here? We should be talking about.
Cubs are just rolling, dude.
Yeah, are they like locked in though? Is it like official?
Yeah, they're in. Now it's just seeding is what they need.
Okay. So they're going to be trying to get their rotation set for next week. What day does the playoffs actually start, Holden? Monday?
Yeah, I think, let's see here. What is September 30th? Whatever, the 29th and the 30th. So is that a week from today?
Yeah, next Tuesday, Wednesday is when it starts.
Yeah, the 29th and the 30th are the first two games. So
yeah, so they'll be trying to get their rotation set. I just don't like this spot too much. I mean, you could go to the Cubs if you wanted, but it's a big slate. We're going to have lots of teams we can choose from. I'm not going to force a team in there that I don't like. So, yeah, I'm off this game.
What do you got there, JSU, on this game? Anything?
Yeah, no, personally, this game to me, I'm probably staying away. You got Brault going up against the Cubs. He had a great outing last time out against St. Louis. He's one of those guys who I always seem like, especially last year, I would try and pick against him, and he just wouldn't give up enough where he gets like absolutely shelled. He'd give up some runs, maybe one home run, but like for the most part, he just does enough most of the time. So I think I'm just staying away from this game entirely. There's 11 games on the slate, so I don't think we need to, go into every single game. I think some of these games need to be a cross-off.
Well, what about this Miami-Atlanta game then? Because it's got a nice little total, 9.5. You've got Urania out there, and he's got like decent stuff, and then he goes out there and he just poops the bed. He's been horrible, as a matter of fact. And then on the Miami side, they got a matchup tonight that shouldn't really scare anybody. Bryce Wilson, he threw 4 innings against Miami in his in the one start where he actually got a little bit deeper into a game. But for the most part, this looks like a spot where there could be some offense. JSU, agree or disagree?
I agree. With Wilson, we don't know. He's probably not gonna go very deep into the game, I don't think. But like with Urania, like you said, he's a guy who, sometimes he has some control problems. He does have decent stuff, but Atlanta is one team where their lineup, their whole lineup is always pretty stacked. And so I like playing them because I can play like the bottom of the order, wrap it around. Like some lineups you get and the bottom of the order stinks. Like we talk about it all the time with like the Yankees, where like the Yankees, one thing that's great about them is you can literally play anyone on that team. You can literally stack it up any way you want, and they have upside. You can play the 9-hole hitter. It doesn't even matter. So some teams you can't do that with, and I think Atlanta is one of those teams where I love playing them because I can always pick on anyone on their lineup, even the bottom of the order guys. So I like Atlanta a lot. Miami, I don't mind either. Like the other side, I don't mind picking off some guys from Miami.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Wilson, and it's a very small sample. This guy's just getting lit up, like in every category: xFIP, Ks, walks. He's a complete disaster. Big T, either side here interest you, or you leaning one way or the other?
Yeah, I game stacked this game last night. It started out real hot, and then it kind of cooled off as the game went. But Wilson is terrible, and this Miami lineup looks good. You got Joyce, who I always like in the 4-hole for cheap. Dickerson leading off. You got a bunch of power working down. Even like Rojas is going to be 1% owned tonight, 2-3% owned, and he was good again last night. No one's going to play him 4,500. The Braves, you can play the Braves every night, especially against Urena. They just have so much upside. They're clicking. Both these teams are good teams, too. Are these teams first and second? I should pull the standings up so I have
first and second.
Like they're first and second.
Miami's the 5th seed right now, man.
Yeah.
And Atlanta's the 3rd. Isn't that fascinating? Miami is the 5 seed. Like
they've been good all year, honestly. Like they really haven't cooled off that much.
It's wild, man.
I don't think they're going to make noise in the playoffs, but we've said it all year. Like you look at this lineup, it's not a bad lineup. They don't have good pitching, I don't think, so they're not going to really do damage. But I don't mind their lineup. Their lineup is solid. So yeah, I definitely have interest in both sides of this game, and I might like Miami even slightly more than Atlanta. Just Wilson's terrible. And I like this Miami lineup.
What's the odds that Matt Joyce is in Tony's core plays? They've got to be good.
The only way he won't be is just if I don't need the money for pitching. Like if there was 2 aces on this slate, I would be deadlocked for Mr. Joyce.
Yeah. One thing that I hate about the Miami on DraftKings is you've got Cooper and Aguilar at first base. You can only play one of them.
So
it drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So we go back to FanDuel though. Like FanDuel, they're a perfect team for you to attack because you can get both these guys together. So I definitely like the stack. I like the call, by Tony with the Miami side. But definitely check them out on FanDuel, getting those guys together.
All right, very good stuff right there. Let's go Tampa Bay and the Mets. JSU, can you really make a case for either side in this one? Snell again. If Snell gets through 4 innings and 70 pitches, maybe 5 innings, fine. Lugo's pitching well. For me, it's a fade. What about you?
For me, it's, a leverage stack in large field tournaments if you want to pick on, Lugo. I'm not going to pick on Snell. It's just I don't think you need to do that here. But if you wanted to pick on Lugo in large field GPPs, I think you could. I'm still going to play him, in some of the higher dollar stuff. But if you're in the $15 large field GPP tournament and you got one shot and you're not playing Lugo and you want to stack against the chalk pitcher, I mean, he is going to be the chalk pitcher. Definitely at least one of them on DraftKings, I think. So I don't hate it, but I'm probably not going to go there because I'm only making 2 or 3 lineups today.
T, what about you, man?
Yeah, so we got 2 of the better pitchers on the slate. Something interesting, though. Uncle T just told me that JT posted something in the Discord that it looks like it was just in a different Discord, but they said Lugo's velocity is down 2 miles per hour, and that's interesting because if that's a good, reliable source right there, Tampa Bay looks pretty nice against a chalkier pitcher where if his velocity is down, they could really – I mean, they got all these lefties. They could put up some big numbers against this guy, Seth Lugo, who's going to be chalky. So I haven't had time to look super into it, but I trust my guy JT. So if he's posting that link in there, I like it. I all of a sudden, I mean, that just shows you when we're doing this show, I started out planning to play Lugo. All of a sudden, one little link where it's 2 miles per hour off the velocity, I could end the show by stacking against the guy. That's just how it works. And
now there a lot of these bats too that Tampa has, they're all cheap guys.
Yeah,
like literally their whole lineup outside of Brandon Lau, they're all cheap. They're all in like the 3K range.
All of a sudden, the lineup looks so tasty.
The problem is that the problem is I'm going to have too much money left over.
We'll just leave it. We'll leave it.
Yeah, we'll leave it.
Win all the money.
Yeah, he's got a really good change too. He throws a curveball. He throws a change. I just wonder with him if he can still be successful with the secondary pitches. I mean, if he's throwing 91 instead of 94 or 93, comes back with a changeup at 82, 83, he could still be effective.
So the flip side is though, like if his arm's bothering him, I mean, he gave up 4 bombs and 6 earned run last start. Like all of a sudden Tampa looks pretty clear to me.
Right.
If the velocity's down and he got hit that hard last game, it looks like a clear stack for me.
And here's the thing too, is even I'm with Tony. Like I like the stack even more now. Maybe it creeps into one of my my 3 builds, but here's the thing is you can obviously, as opposed to stack Tampa, if you don't want to go that far, you could just not play Lugo. Or you could take a one-off or a mini stack approach where you take 2 cheapies to kind of fill in your lineup. Maybe you take Atlanta, who's more expensive, or another stack that's a little more expensive. Then you take 2 of these cheap guys. Got Kiermaier, in the 7 hole, he's 3K. Like they've got a few bats with some power, some upside that you can get for nice cheap prices. So definitely like it more though.
I mean, so Joey Work our boy Joey Work from the bet side in the chat too says Tampa Bay needs 1 win to clinch the division. I mean, that's a nice little boost too, just a little nugget. I mean, they got a few games left, but it's still nice to know that 1 win gets them over. All the little nuggets add up to something that could end up being a big nugget. So also we need to inquire, did Uncle T unblock Joey Work? Because I can't believe he had. Was it us 3 on the show when we were doing it? Or no, it was Duncan.
No, he unblocked him like that moment when we called him, when he called him out.
Uncle T had Joey Work blocked on Twitter. I mean, there was a little issue. They were about to get in the ring, I think, maybe.
No, it's enough with Uncle T. He wants to beat up Title. You listen to the pod tonight, I'm sure he's going to threaten his life again. That's all he does. Now he's blocking Joey Work. I mean, I know he's a family member and stuff, Big T, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Uncle T's off limits. JSU has Uncle T's back. He's off limits.
He's a dangerous man.
He's off limits.
So all of a sudden, the Rays, we came up with the Rays. Joey Work got us going on the Rays. JT got us going on the Rays. We're all in the Rays. Hey, make sure you guys hit the like button. We're only at we're just shy of 70 right now. So
the Rays look so good. My man Kiermaier down in the 7 hole. They just look tasty.
All right.
So I love how Holden goes, oh, JT, oh, Joey Work, all these guys got us on Tampa. One of the first things I said was they were a great leverage stack against Lugo. Like when we're talking about pitchers,
but you're like,
And Holden just
No, there was no conviction there, JSU. Yeah, there was no
news.
This is like when JSU. This is like when Titletown tried to take the Aaron Rodgers victory lap on you. Like you got to have some conviction.
That was way worse.
This is worse.
No.
This is worse.
Wow.
It's not worse, but it's equal.
You're like,
no, it's not equal.
Yeah.
It's not
You
even
had no conviction. Stop. There was no conviction.
If I was playing 150 lineups, I'd probably throw a raised leverage stack.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's the chalkiest pitcher on the slate. Literally, he's going to be like 60% owned. This dude.
Don't have fake conviction now.
Come on, JSU. This is ridiculous. That's right, Big T. You tell him.
Yeah, I mean, he had no conviction, and then all of a sudden, and now he like loved it.
Big T, you were sleeping at the beginning. Don't lie to the people right here.
I'm still sleeping. It got me excited.
All right, JSU.
I don't even know how you can be sleeping when your Nuggets are playing tonight. You gotta wake up. That's why I was
sleeping. I had to rest. When do we get to the NBA portion of this show?
Are we doing NBA?
Yeah, we're doing NBA.
All right, fine. I'll talk NBA at the end of it.
Let's get through this offense so we can circle back and talk about NBA. A real team.
Yeah, I mean,
we need at least 10 minutes to talk about how bad Plumlee's defense was on that play, because people were arguing with me that, they were supposed to switch. You don't switch if there's no damn screen. There wasn't a screen. I mean, I was
Tony.
So
the best was, why do you bring him in if you are switching? I still won't. I still don't get it.
It's painful.
By the way, JSU, Dark Bluer says they never give credit to JSU.
Thank you.
That is so.
Why don't you just stroke him off?
This chat is on fire right now.
So
he deserves a T-shirt. Send Tony your information. You get a T-shirt, my man. They know what happens when they go on JSU side. They get good. No, he's getting a T-shirt. Boom,
somebody
right
said he was humble when he won too. The least humble person out there. You know what kind of things
humble person out there?
100,000. He goes out there and he's like setting things on fire, rioting. This guy is just out of control. Don't even start.
Are you kidding me right now? What have I said anything about anything I'm doing when I make money? I say nothing about it. I don't go out. I don't buy fancy things. Goes right in the bank account. I save my money.
It was right on the Twitter feed.
Well, I
don't blame you. Listen, I have said this time and time again. I think you are the number one DFS player in basketball, football, and baseball right now.
Yeah.
That's the key to the showdown down there. And if you want a compliment, fine. I'll shit on you. I don't care.
No, listen.
I've said the same thing, Holden. JSU's the top dog right now. I'm giving him his credit.
See, I don't like it, though, when you guys start stroking me off, because I hate it, because then I see Tony over here, and you guys all know that Tony's one of the best players in the world in DFS. I can't stand it when he strokes me off, though, because he knows it, too, in the back of his head.
Now. That's how you know it wasn't true, though, what you just said about the race.
This is psychological, though, because I want you guys to know how Tony works.
No.
He gets motivated by him saying that I'm better than him at something. Just so you guys know, this is how he works. He gets motivated by it. Watch, Tony's going to have a big screenshot. I guarantee you. He's motivated
I'm all
by
for that as well. I'm good for that.
Tony, whose idea was Run Pure Sports? Like, whose brainchild is this?
I mean, I don't know. Are we legally allowed to get into all this on the show? I mean,
don't look at me. It wasn't my brainchild.
I thought that he brought you on because you were good. But I
brought him on because we needed a top dog on our staff, and JSU decided to take that reins as the top man.
Yeah, that's it. You don't have to start blushing, JSU. You're fine. Hit the like button. If you think JSU is a good DFS player, hit the like button.
I will say one thing, though. I just plunged him. He was not on Tampa. He had no conviction. I'm not giving him credit for that one.
You know what? Back to the like button, because we're done with this, because Tony's just never going to give me credit for anything besides being the top DFS player right now, as of right now, apparently. But how do we have 77 likes?
3 dislikes is this now, even possible?
We got 298 people. We got 298 people watching. We got 77 likes? Oh, God.
To do.
Come on, people.
Got a lot of people watching without fingers today because it's a lot tough to hit it with just this. That's not easy. All right, can we get
you got your elbow too. Come on.
Baltimore at
I see you,
Boston.
Brian M.
This could be a high-scoring game, but there's also wind that's kind of blowing in. So it's coming in from left over the monster and blowing toward the first baseline. So on one side, it's Nick Pivetta day. So a lot of people are jacked up about Nick Pivetta coming out there. He lasted He got an out against the Braves. Not going deep. You'll see a lot of the Boston bullpen, which is what we love to target. Which is why you would think off the top, hey, the Red Sox or the Orioles are not a bad play. And the matchup is not bad for the Red Sox either. Keegan Aiken does, he's had a couple of good starts, and then he went out and he got trashed by the Yankees. This is not the Yankees lineup he's facing. All right, JSU, bring us back to baseball. Stay focused here, buddy. Either side tonight. Does the wind is that even in the conversation here?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely in the conversation, I would say. I don't know. So this game to me, I really don't want to attack it. Anyways, Boston's done. They're checked out, my opinion. I don't want anything to do with them. And then Baltimore, I don't know. I think you can get some cheap plays from Baltimore. I don't mind taking some of these guys. DJ Stewart, who has some power in the 5-hole. They've got a few guys, Mountcastle, 3,700. I think that if you're looking for, a mini stack, some cheap guys, I just think the stack in general, we just talked about Tampa Bay being a nice cheap stack. I think now I'd prefer Tampa Bay over a cheap stack like Baltimore. So I think it'd be more of a mini stack approach for me, where I take one or two guys, maybe a one-off. Like I said, DJ Stewart is probably my favorite as a one-off in this game. But outside of that, I'm probably not full stacking this game.
All right, Big T, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I kind of like the pitching more than this game than the hitting. I mean, it's not just because of the win, but this Aiken, he's looked nice. He's definitely on my list tonight. He mowed. Who did he play last game?
Oh, it's the Yankees. Did he get trashed in a really short?
His last start, he mowed whoever it was.
Yeah. No, he played Atlanta last start.
Right.
I think because I stacked Atlanta is how I know that he mowed, because he mowed. What was his numbers? I got to pull this up now. This guy, I think I could be totally wrong, but
no, you're right. And he got smacked by the Yankees the time before that. He got smacked by the Yankees, but then he had a good outing against the Yankees the first time he played them. so
he's 3 of his last 4 starts have been good. Last start though, 5 innings, 9 Ks against Atlanta. He freaking mowed 93 pitches too. Now he gets a Boston team that JSU just said they're ready to quit. If there's any team ready to quit, it's Boston. They're ready to be done with this season and move on. So I like this kid. I could definitely play this kid, and I like him, honestly. And Pivetta is a guy that's been decent at times in the past. I didn't even know he played for Boston. He must have got picked up somewhat recently. But, I mean, he's been a good pitcher in the past at times. So, on a big slate, definitely not going to play hitters here. And I like Aiken. I like pitching more than you guys kind of did, I think. But Aiken is definitely on my list.
All right, guys, hit the like button. We're at 103. It's absolutely a ridiculously low number. It's not very tough.
Nick Pivetta, the one thing I will say about Nick Pivetta is he's got decent stuff, but he always seems to me as like one of those guys who he just tends to get wild at times, and has a tendency to blow up at times where I think the stuff is solid, but he always gets in trouble with the walks and just always seems to have control issues and always seems to just blow up at certain times. So if I'm definitely with Tony, whereas he seemed to be more on the Baltimore pitcher, I would definitely lean more to the Baltimore side in general. I'm staying away from all Boston things, pitching, hitting. I'm staying away from all of them.
So we got the Twins hosting the Tigers. Tariq Skubal's on the mound for Detroit. He had a horrible first start. His last start was bad, but then he had 3 starts where he wasn't bad, especially the 2 in the middle. He had Minnesota back-to-back starts, guys. So first of all, let's start with this. So he had an average. So he went had 2. I'm trying to get his whole thing up here. All I got is DK points for him. But he had 5 innings, one start, 6 innings the next start. We really didn't get beat up in either one, but this is the third time around. So does this do anything to JSU? Do we even care that it's the third time around, third time in 4 starts for Scooble?
I mean, we've talked about this a bunch about how, like, does this make a difference? I mean, I don't know. Like, he hasn't had issues really the last 2 times anyways he's faced Minnesota. I'm probably, again, like, I think it's one of those things where I think Minnesota is somewhat in play, but they're not one of my top stacks by far. This guy seemed to, kind of handle them pretty well the last 2 starts at least. So again, I think it's something where, we can find some hitters here, but it's not something that I'm going to, stack up and have 5 hitters from Minnesota. And Detroit, like, same thing. Like, I don't want to touch the Detroit side. Like, I don't really like the Detroit side. We're going to get into a few stacks as we move to some of these later games that I think I like a little bit more.
Detroit, Minnesota. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. I mean, Scooball has been pretty good. I mean, Minnesota just hasn't. I don't know. Like, I started the year loving them, playing them a bunch. I've kind of soured on them a little bit. I don't know what it is about them. I just don't like the lineup as much as I did. Oh, the lineup just came out right as I was talking, though. You got Buxton up in the 1 hole. I do like when they put Buxton up in the 1 just because I think he's good. So I like that. But you look towards the bottom of the lineup, I mean, Kepler, lefty, I don't love. Marwin, Jeffers, Adrianza. I don't love it. I mean, I could definitely play if you like them. I don't hate Sano, Garver, Donaldson, Buxton. So 4 of them, I could definitely do that. But like I always say, like, I want to be able to like the whole lineup, even if I only stack 4 or 5 of them. This case, I literally only like 4 of them. So on FanDuel, maybe you go there and just play the 4, but I don't know. I don't like the lineup as a whole. Probably a stay away from me.
It's been disappointing this year too. I mean, I really think a lot of us were expecting them to just come out and have a great season again, and they've kind of laid an egg compared to what they were last season. It's almost like the White Sox have turned into them. So,
what about
up?
Picking on old Homer? Like, there's some lefties for Detroit that we could play.
What do you think, JSU?
I mean, again, I just don't know if we need to do it on this slate. That's the question. 11 games, and Bailey looked decent his last time out. I know that he's Homer Bailey, but still, I don't think we need to do it here. Like, what these guys are all cheap guys, and we talked about a few cheap plays or cheap players and stacks we like. Miami, Tampa Bay, even Baltimore's got a bunch of cheap guys. Like, do we need to go with Detroit?
No.
I think if Homer gets shellacked,
it's really going to make it different.
I mean, yeah, if Homer gets shellacked. So do you like Detroit? Is that what you're going with?
No, I wanted some conviction from you.
I don't have any conviction.
Is that Cameron Diaz in the 9 hole? They got Cameron Diaz hitting 9th?
Nope.
That's what it says, right? Cameron Diaz.
Who, for Detroit?
Yeah, in the 9 hole.
She's old.
I mean, she can't be a very good hitter these days.
No, she can't be pushing like 50 too. She's older. St. Louis at the Royals.
She still knows her way around the bench, though. I mean, she probably knows her way around.
Yeah, she knows more than you would think. St. Louis at the Royals. So we got Brady Singer on the mound, coming off a great start. Loved what I saw from that kid. The results before them were complete garbage, though. And then we got the big left-hander on the mound tonight, Austin Gomber. Now, he's only going to start. He'll get 1, 2, maybe 3 innings if you're lucky out of him. So you'll see a whole bunch of bullpen there, which really doesn't scare me too much. JSU, do you have any conviction on either side of this one?
Yeah. Do we have the St. Louis lineup out yet? Is that out yet? No. Yeah. So, I mean, I want to see the lineup, but I don't mind St. Louis today. I think we can attack. Like you said, it's going to be more the bullpen than Gomber. But I do like Singer as a pitcher, and I'm probably going to have a little taste of the St. Louis team. Again, I want to see the lineup, but I don't mind the St. Louis team. They're not like my top stack or anything like that, but they're definitely up there.
So you like St. Louis. Okay. Tony, do you have any interest down there in the Redbirds?
So St. Louis, I've played them so many times, and I swear they've never been the winner. Like, they're always cheap. They always, like, fit with the good pitchers, and I always end up playing. I swear they haven't been. Have they come through for you all year, JSU?
You know, honestly, I haven't played them that much this year. So maybe this is the opposite effect of you, because you seem to have played them a good amount. And I haven't really played St. Louis at all this year, at least not that I can remember. So it's been a while for sure.
I mean, it is definitely a spot where, like, I have a sour taste in my mouth because they never come through. Singer looked good last start. The Cardinals have a low total. It's a bad park. It definitely doesn't stick out to me, but it's going to be low owned too. So, I mean, maybe they need to win to get in the playoffs too, which is always nice. But, man, they have been bad to me. Like, who do you like in the lineup is the problem too. Like, I look at the lineup, I don't like any of them.
So real quick, because I feel like motivation is something that you're looking at here, Big T, and I don't blame you. I think that's interesting. So Miami's 28-26. They really haven't wrapped anything up yet. Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, San Francisco, they all got stuff to play for. The teams that are basically out of it, Colorado, the Mets, Washington, Arizona, and Pittsburgh. But you can't tell me that some of these guys that are coming up, maybe they're not household names, maybe they're not talented, but if you're a young player coming up, you're absolutely trying to make an impression there. So
that's why I think it's our job, though, to, like, decide the teams that have given up.
Yes.
And I agree completely. Like, some of these teams are going to play just as hard. Like, they're just going to finish the year out. It's the veteran guys, like the Boston type teams, where some of those guys that have been around, been in big games,
like
there's
JD.
just no way they have the same like JD. Like, there's no way JD, and he's against a lefty tonight, and he can go hit a couple bombs. I'm not saying he can't. He's still going to try to swing for the fence when he's up, but is he getting there 3 hours early or 2 hours early to get cuts in? And I tend to believe he's probably not doing that. So I don't know. It's again, I'm more of a feel player. I'm going to just go with stuff like that. If it beats me, it beats me.
And let's be honest too, your mindset can't be all there. It can't be the same as, like, if you were, competing for a playoff spot. Like, there's no way. Some of the younger guys, like you said, they're playing hard because they're playing for, like, a job, right? They're playing for next year, like, trying to hopefully make the team again or whatever, like start or whatever it is. But some of the veteran guys, like, they know they're coming back. Like, what's the motivation for them?
I think the other team, besides for the Red Sox, then would be the Rockies. And we got Nolan Arenado sounding off. He's still pissed off about the roster. Those guys are just a complete disaster. One of the worst teams. You're seeing them. I hate when people say, they quit or they're taking plays off. They're just, the effort is not there. I think those, to me, are the two teams that stand out. You definitely convinced me on Boston. And Colorado's the other team that just doesn't look like they're doing it. Hey, JSU, we're at 116 likes. How many more do we got till we give something away?
Oh, we got to get to 150. We're at 313 watching right now. We got to get to 150.
Oh, that's not bad. Okay. And just so you know, we have 5 dislikes, and 4 of them came at least 20 minutes after I took my shirt off. So do not try to blame me.
No, they came right after JSU tried to take credit for the Tampa Bay call.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what it was. Because I get no credit.
So Angels Padres, how popular, Mr. No Credit, JSU, how popular are the Padres tonight? I kind of feel like their price tag is going to be a little prohibitive, especially on DraftKings. They do get Griffin Canning tonight. We do love the bats for the Padres. I mean, that's always a lot of fun. And to be honest with you, Canning really doesn't do very much. He doesn't miss bats. He's putting guys on base, especially the last couple of starts. Padres side, yes or no? Anything from the Angels?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Padres side, they've got some big bats at the top that I definitely think you might have some money to spend. Tatis and Machado. A lot of these guys are expensive. This whole lineup is really going to be expensive pretty much for San Diego. At least the main pieces you're going to want. Grisham, Myers, all these guys are priced up. But I don't hate it at all. Like you said, against Canning, doesn't miss bats. I think Canning is actually like a solid pitcher too. But on this slate where we might have a ton of money to spend, and San Diego is definitely one of the better offenses on the slate. I absolutely think they're in play.
How about you, Big T?
Yeah, the Padres have been in play basically the whole season. They've crushed. Canning has got crushed at times, and there's not a ton of offense on this slate. Even though it's a big slate, there's not that like just Yankees team where they're at home against a bad pitcher, or Coors Field, or some of these spots that just stick off the page. So you have to consider the Padres. I mean, we have the salary to spend. They are expensive, but for good reason. I mean, they could put up a big number tonight. I don't know if they're my favorite, but they're definitely in play. And even we keep wanting to pick on Davies. There's going to be a start. There has to be where this dude gets hit hard. Like, there just has to be. He can't just go forever without freaking getting hit. And the Angels are an interesting spot for me just because they have some pop in there. That, I mean, anytime you can roll out Trout, Rendon, Ohtani, Upton, those type of guys in the middle of the lineup, you have power. And on a slate like this, you just don't know. And no one's going to play them. They have upside. That's all you can ask for in baseball, especially this time of year.
I mean, that first baseman, Jared Walsh, has been on fire, too, for the Angels. He's definitely someone who, if I'm just picking off one guy from there, I would definitely look over at first base. Okay. Outside of Trout, obviously, that's not a.
No, that's a nice one-off too. And people keep hitting me. They watch these games, like, hey, Jared Walsh, how big of a prospect is this guy? I'm like, he's 27. He's not a prospect. He really wasn't even that great in the minors. He just came up and he got hot. You know, it's good. We'll take that. Did you see Tony? He just ran into the ballpark. Like, I saw him get up and run.
Yeah. So Tony, because Tony owns the company, he just decided he can do whatever the heck he wants. So he'll just randomly leave and, leave me and you to pick up the slack while he's gone. Yeah. He's probably going to pour himself another drink or grab a bottle. He's probably on bottle number 2, So I'm just saying, though, that's probably what's going on.
Breast milk or beer? What kind of
wine? No, he's a wine guy.
Wine?
Yeah, he's a wine guy.
I didn't know you were a wine connoisseur, Big T. I always thought, you'd sit back there with a Miller Lite and a chew and just have a good time. I learned you don't need
Miller Lite and a
chew. I wish it was wine. No, my kids were out there screaming. The alarm was going off. I had to go lay the law for a minute. It's a good thing my thing was on mute because I was yelling.
All right. Houston, Seattle. Very high implied total for Houston. I mean, we're pushing over 5.25 now, going up against these Mariners. And then Newsom's on the mound. LJ Newsom. We love picking on a little LJ Newsom, right? He's not going to go deep into this game. He's not giving up any runs when he goes out there, but putting guys on base, that's fine. Seems like Vegas likes Houston tonight. And then Seattle going up against Framber. Nobody's going to be on Seattle tonight, Big T. Should anyone be on Seattle tonight?
I mean, it doesn't look like the best of spots for sure. I mean, Framber's been the best pitcher. I mean, not the best pitcher on this slate. He's been the most consistent this year. He's been solid, shown upside. There's just not really a reason to go there on this slate. Even for leverage, I don't think there's enough upside. So don't love that. I mean, Houston. So I talked about the Cardinals. Houston is right there with the Cardinals for the team that I've probably lost me the most of all the stacks because they always feel like they're in a good spot and they just never win the slate. They just haven't. Maybe it's because they can't cheat anymore. No trash cans, like all the whatever. But they have not got the job done. And we're just at the point of the season. I mean, there's a couple days left where I'm not going to do it. If they win the slate, then I'm not going to be in the winner's circle because I'm just done with them. They have not shown any signs of life. And I just don't want to play them, so I'm off this game.
Are you off this game, JSU?
So it's funny because I was thinking that exact same thing before Tony started talking about Houston being the biggest disappointing team of Tony because I talked to Tony, a lot before slates and stuff like that. And I swear to God, I feel like every other day he tells me, oh, I'm on Houston. Oh, Houston's my favorite. and then they just go and lay an egg, and I'm just sitting there.
They're not even like close to breaking the slate either. They'll score like 3 runs. Like they don't even threat. They don't even get you like to 3 to 6 or something. They don't even get you like halfway home.
There are spots though where like multiple times where I've seen them and been like, oh, early in the day, oh, I got to play Houston. And then by the end of the day, I'm like, why am I playing Houston? They're just not good. Like they're just not yet, even in the best of spots, they just don't do it. So I don't know. I've just been kind of staying away from Houston. And I know, Tony, you're on the opposite boat of that, where you just gotten crushed by them a few times. I remember when Kyle Tucker like started getting run after, the injuries and everything like that. And I remember at the very beginning, you were all on like Kyle Tucker. You're playing him constantly. He's not doing well. And then all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure you get off of him and he starts hitting home run like 3 days in a row. And I remember this just being like, Tony must be tilting so bad right now because he was playing this kid nonstop. But I just, for me, Houston, like Tony said, they just don't get there, even in the spots they should. Like in Seattle, I'm probably on Valdez as the pitcher, and that's about it.
So, guys, this to me is the most interesting game of the night, believe it or not. Texas and Arizona, 2 garbage teams. Because I'm struggling here. It's not like Arizona is a good lineup, but they are facing Jordan Lyles. He's got a 13% K rate and 9.5% walk rate. This guy has been absolutely horrendous. Fly balls, 41% fly balls. Are you kidding me? And it's not like one side has had an advantage over the other. Lefties and righties pummel this guy. And on the other side, though, it's not like Taylor Clark's been much better. He gets strikeouts, 22%, but the xFIP's over 5. He's over 11% walk rate. Like everything, if we just looked at the pitchers, we'd say, oh, this is the game that we're completely targeting. But now we got to look at the offenses too, JSU. Like, are the pitchers bad enough to consider bad offense tonight?
Well, I mean, I think the Arizona side, you have to at least look at a few players, Cole Calhoun being one of them at 4,500. I think someone to look at. Christian Walker, you talked about he's getting hit by lefties and righties. Well, Christian Walker's like 3,300 on DraftKings, got tons of power. I think even as a one-off, it's a solid one-off play right there for cheap. I mean, I don't mind Arizona. The problem is, like, I don't love full stacking this team because they're just not good. Like, there's just not a bunch of good hitters that I want to, like, build around. But I'm definitely going to have some Calhoun. I'm going to have some Christian Walker, even if it's in, like, a mini stack. Maybe Peralta might make the lineup. Like, they have a few guys, but I don't know. Nick Ahmed usually – I don't mind him as like a cheap one-off guy. He's another guy I would look at. Those are probably the 4 Diamondbacks who I'm going to consider mostly.
So T, again, this is a dilemma here. 2 horrible pitchers against 2 offenses that aren't really good. But JS, you made a great point there. He actually had some conviction, as you would say. He had a couple of nice little one-offs. Christian Walker, as a matter of fact, brilliant play. Are you on Walker tonight? And how are you handling these offenses against these dipsticks? These guys suck.
Yeah, I mean, Texas for sure is like the worst lineup ever. We say it every show, but I mean, this team is so bad. So I wouldn't stack them. You could be pitching against them, and I wouldn't stack Texas because I mean that lineup is horrific. So again, if they're ever the winner, then I'm not going to be winning that day. But this total is big, which tells me is the roof probably is open tonight. I'm guessing just blindly looking at it, I would think probably the roof's open. But the pitchers are terrible. You have to consider Arizona, and I honestly like them. I mean, you got a bunch of lefties. Like Marte is cheap, Walker cheap, Calhoun is a little higher priced but good. Escobar, Ahmed, like JSU said. Carson Kelly I always like for some power at catcher. I mean, even Pavin Smith, the young guy in the 8-hole, I mean, you can play him. No one's going to play him down in the 8-hole. Peralta, I don't know. I kind of like this lineup. I mean, they have sucked all year, so that's a downside of it. They could quit like we talked about. But as far as strictly matchup and upside, I like it. I mean, they're definitely in play. I mean, they could score a ton of runs off the Lyles and this bad staff. I like it.
We just got their lineup too. for the Rangers. This is a good one. Leody Taveras, Nick Solak, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Gallo, Odor, Anderson Tejeda, Sam Huff, who is Sherten Apostel. I feel like I know most of these guys. I have never heard of Sherten Apostel and Eli White. I mean, we're big and deep here with the Rangers. Like, so if they're so bad, there's no way we can target them with a pitcher, though, because there's not going to be enough strikeouts, right? Like, they're so awful.
There's just not.
Can't do it.
I mean, there's not a pitcher in this. Like, Caleb Smith's not going to pitch long. Who's coming in after him?
It's going to be
nobody. Yeah.
It's going to be bad. Here's Sherten Apostel. I'll tell you all about him. He's nothing. He's even bad in the minors. What are we doing here? What are the Tigers doing? He had a decent year. You know what? He had some home runs. Whatever, Tiger.
He can't be very good because Texas has sucked, and he didn't make the cut till recently. So he's got to be pretty bad.
Name is Sherten. Oakland at the Doyers. We got Dustin May here going up against a good Oakland lineup tonight. May's coming off a start. Lasted one inning. Just get him a little work there. He's going to be on a pitch count, isn't he? And then the other side of things with the Dodgers tonight, and the Dodgers are, I mean, they're looking very good in the playoffs here. Frankie Montas. Anything here? JSU? Let's hear it, man. Anything?
I mean, I think you could play the Dodgers, definitely. But I'm probably going to stay away from this game. I expect the Dodgers to, be played a little bit just because Montas, I think the dude has some talent, definitely, but he also can get smacked around. And the Dodgers, obviously, being that they have a really good lineup, really good hitters, they could definitely have success today. I think for me, though, I'm just going to stay away. I talked about a few other teams that I like a little bit more. And we got one other game to talk about after, which I have some interest in. So I'm probably staying off this game.
T, anything?
Yeah, you should always have a little interest in the Dodgers, but it's not the best spot even for them, I don't think. I mean, the weather's starting to get a little colder there, late game. I don't think the ball's going to travel as good. And, I mean, Montas isn't just a complete trash can, so I don't love it. Yeah, I'll stay off this game too.
All right, so JSU, you said you're going to like this game. So Colorado, San Francisco, again, wind blowing out a little bit in San Francisco. I don't think we're too worried about that. Drew Smyly against Kyle Freeland is the pitching matchup this evening. Drew Smyly, man, whole bunch of strikeouts in 4 innings in his last start against the Padres. He's not going deep into the games, but so you do have a little spot to target here, JSU?
Yeah, I mean, I do like some of these San Francisco guys. As I don't know, do we have a lineup yet for them? Or is that out?
It's the late.
I don't see one out either. So I expect, though, they're going to throw in, a bunch of their righty bats, Ruff and all those guys, Tony's boys, Wilmer, and 3,400 for Wilmer. I like him. If Ruff's hitting, up in the order, I wouldn't mind taking a shot with him. Longoria. This team's had success against Freeland, even though I hate stacking a ton against Freeland because most of the time he's solid enough. But yes, it's been in Coors the last 2 times they played him, but still they've had some success against them. And, San Francisco, even though it's not the ideal park scenario, even though the wind's blowing out, but I don't take that too much into account. I still think they've got enough power righties where they can kind of get to him and they have some upside. So I'm definitely going to have some of these guys, like I said, Wilmer, Longoria, if Ruff's in the lineup, Ruff. So I just got to see the lineup, though.
T, give me the rundown. I'm going to give you some breaking NBA news you're going to like, or maybe not like. Maybe you'll hate it.
Yeah, it's not going to be breaking for me because I think I know.
You already saw it. Billy Donovan, baby, going to the Bulls.
I like
Bulls
it too.
Bomb.
Why in the world would OKC get rid of him? He did a great job this year with that team. It just makes NBA teams are just stupid sometimes. It doesn't make sense.
Can you imagine a team that thought they were pretty much just going to be awful and then all of a sudden they're good and they make the playoffs and all this stuff and they, give Houston a good series, really good series. And they fire their coach? What?
It's crazy.
What are you doing? Like, It's good for the Bulls, though. The Bulls need a good coach, so they got a bunch of stuff going on over there. Ton of young guys though for Chicago, so they just got to get stuff right over there.
Billy Donovan is a bad man. He's an excellent coach. Hey, Big T, though, real quick, this Giants game. Are we on the Giants?
Yeah, so I'm always going to have – this is a good slate where just throw Wilmer in as like your late guy, depending on who you're playing. I mean, 3,400 for Wilmer. He's been a little cold lately, but, I mean, the price tag reflects it too, and Ruff for that matter. Like, I like both those guys like always. Standard. I love having them in the late game. The Rockies have quit too, so you got that working for you. Freeland, I'm not saying he's going to pack it in, but again, same story where anything that little nudge upward can help. So not a full stack. I'm definitely not a full stack for me, but Ruff and Wilmer, even Longoria, if you wanted 3, I like those guys.
Man, we got a lot of people in the chat saying Billy Donovan sucks. He's not a good coach. I'll tell you right now, I don't care what anyone says. The coaching job he did this season and in the bubble, that was a really good coaching job. That team was not good enough to even do what they did, and that was a really good coaching job. I don't care what anyone says. They weren't supposed to go even that far. Yeah. So I don't even think they were supposed to make the playoffs. Like
that's just the lazy thing everyone
tape.
says. Like everyone always is like, "Oh, that coach sucked." They don't know why they say it though. Like there's not reasons behind it.
So let's hit the stacks here, guys, because we had a little amoeba type thing where it was just forming, and now we've gotten to the end of the show. Like the Rays popped up out of nowhere, and this. Who's your stacks here, Big T?
Yeah, give me Tampa. I like Tampa and I sold myself on Arizona a little bit as we were talking about it.
Okay.
I'll go with those 2 and then Miami. Those are my 3. I don't think they're even that popular, any of those 3. So I like that.
John Sarabian, what do you got?
Yeah, honestly, I like the 3 teams that Tony said. What do you say? He said Tampa. Who was the second
Arizona.
team you said? Arizona and Miami. So I would probably put honestly, that's probably how I'd rank them. Tampa. I think it'd be Tampa, Miami, Arizona for me, actually, but it'd be there. I think, and then Atlanta, Padres for like more expensive stacks, but I like those 3 as my top stacks probably.
You know what? I didn't like hate the Miami side coming in, but I got to go look at the total now, like the team total for the Marlins after listening to you guys. Like if it's any, I bet you it's 4.5. Like did the Marlins put up 5 runs tonight? 3.5 maybe? I don't think I can go over 4.5, but I can go over 3.5.
You can go over 4.5. They're going to score for us.
Really?
Yeah, if you get a better price, maybe we get like plus 110 or something. Right? At the 4.5.
What do we got as far as home runs or one-offs? Would you like to share a home run or one-off or 2? It's the Big T special.
Yeah, give me. So the funny thing about this Rays lineup that we're going to get on, every single day they're all cheap except Brandon Lowe is like $1 million every single day. Give me Brandon Lowe for one of them because I know I'm going to play him. I just know that price tag is so high that no one's going to play him, and those are the plays I like to play. He's good. He's in the spot we like, and no one's going to play him for 5,800. So give me him. Give me this Varsho dude. This Varsho dude in the 1 hole for Arizona, and then Wilmer. Those are my 3. Actually, Ruff and Wilmer are going to hit 1.
Dalton Varsho, baby. Gary's kid. This guy's all right. It's not bad.
I like how he's eligible at catcher, too, because I think he's technically like an outfielder, right?
JSU.
I like that.
Yeah, give me Christian Walker and Kevin Kiermaier.
I like both of those. You guys were kind of talking Kiermaier earlier, and now we got the Christian Walker. I love Christian Walker. Did you want to talk NBA Big T or no?
Yeah, I mean, we have
Listen, I'll just say this. More than half of the subscribers to our YouTube channel, by it's all said and done, are going to be watching this, and we're still 11 shy. So basically, if you talk NBA, you're going to allow some slackers, one of them to get some free swag, or we cut it off and don't get anything. I'm in a good mood. I think we should talk NBA.
Yeah, I'm good with it. And we got a big one tonight. I mean, coming off that tough game the other night, it was frustrating. And so I can't wait to hear what JSU says because we haven't talked about it yet. But finally, for the first time since the Utah series, Malone gives my man PJ Dozier some minutes and he sparks him again. The problem with that is now I want to come back with him. And there's a decent chance that Malone just doesn't play him again like always, and he gets me 0 minutes. So, I mean, right now on this slate, he is 21. That's even in the captain. He's 1,400. Doesn't even hurt me if he gets 0. He played 14 minutes last game, which doesn't feel like a ton, but they were the key minutes. They were the minutes that mattered. He closed the game the last, 12 minutes or something. He can't put him back on the bench and not play him, right? Talk me out of it if I can't play him.
You said that Mike Malone can't do that? Because he definitely could do it. I mean, This coach is – I don't care. What got me the most was he made some really good what was it again, Tony? Some in-game adjustments for the last series. That drove me nuts, man. That last series was won on the back of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, and that was it. I'm sorry, Mike Malone had nothing to do with those guys going ballistic in that series. And in the other series, the Utah should have won that series if it wasn't for Jamal Murray just literally averaging 50 a game the last 4 games or whatever it was. They wouldn't have won that series. Mike Malone getting credit for anything drives me nuts because he shouldn't at all. But to your PJ Dozier point, I honestly would bank on him getting no minutes. I would literally, because he got minutes, we might get people to actually play PJ Dozier. And I know you're a fan of PJ Dozier, and that's why you want to play him. But he might get some ownership because people will see he's cheap. And, he saw minutes last game. Oh, maybe Mike Malone gives him more minutes this game. It literally could be the opposite version where Mike Malone could give him 0 minutes this next game. I just don't trust anything.
It happened last time I got my hopes up.
What I remember, was this a Showdown slate the last time you were all over PJ Dozier, or was it might have been?
It's either Showdown or 2-gamer. I mean,
I can't remember it. And you still cashed with him as a 0 or something like that.
The funny thing is, tonight, I think the same thing could happen though, because the slates you can cash with a 0 are the ones with stars where they get you 60, and you need that salary. It could happen again easily.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, honestly. But this game in general.
He can't sit him, though. He can't.
He can. He can absolutely play Torrey Craig and Monte Morris and all these chumps, bad players, continue to play MPJ 20 minutes or whatever he's getting. He can do that. I just don't get it. I don't get how MPJ sees 15. Obviously saw 29 because the game got out of hand that game, but 20.
MPJ is the most tilting this series because it's a series finally where his defense doesn't matter because the Lakers have a lot of non-threats. He should be playing more minutes now than ever because they need his offense and his defense doesn't impact anything.
They need his rebounding too.
And his rebound.
He's a really good rebounder. His length, exactly. This is a tough matchup where they need length on the floor. And you could, like Tony said, you could literally throw him on Danny Green. Literally, easily. If you're worried about his defense,
KCP,
put him on KCP.
Put him on any of those guys.
Any of those guys. They're terrible. And you don't even have to worry about it. Just stay down on the jump shot. They're going to try and shoot when they're open. Just don't run out and foul them for 3. And Mike Malone won't get mad and pull you out. As long as you don't do that, you're going to be fine. I don't understand why these coaches get a pass when, his defense. What is defense? Put him on someone where the defense doesn't matter.
Bad either.
And it's not. Exactly.
Fine.
Yeah, well, the problem was in the Utah series, in the beginning, they were just getting him switched on Mitchell, and Mitchell was just kind of going one-on-one on. But he was torching everyone. He was torching Torrey Craig going one-on-one against him. So you couldn't just use MPJ's defense against him. Everyone's defense was terrible against Donovan Mitchell. But I mean, I don't know. From your your Dozier point, it wouldn't shock me if the guy saw 20 minutes and got more minutes. It wouldn't shock me if the guy saw 0. Like that's how much. So what's your like projection? Do you actually project him to get more, Tony, because he got some run last game, or do you kind of keep him at that 10 to 12 minute range, which I think is what he got around last game, right?
Yeah, I mean, he played the whole fourth quarter, so I think he ended up playing like 14 minutes or something. But, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, so on this, the way I'm going to play the showdown tonight is I'm for sure I'm fading Jokic again because I think the matchup is tough. He was really good last game, and to be honest, I hope he proves me wrong and plays good. Like, I'm fine with that. I like Jokic. It's just a tough matchup, and you can only play 3 of the 4 stars. I'm for sure playing the 2 Lakers guys. I mean, every build. I'm not – their floor is safe. Their ceiling's safe. There's no way you're not playing those 2. It's just a matter of who you're putting in the captain type thing. But Jamal Murray, I keep waiting for an explosion, and I think it's coming. So I'm going to play him over Jokic too. So once you play those 3, even if I play Jamal in the captain, you're left with only 4,100. So I just think the risk is minimal to just play PJ. If you catch a good run and he actually gets the same opportunity as last game, you're going to be mint. If he gets 0, I think you're going to be hurting, but you could still cash. I just like the upside. If you put him in there, all of a sudden you're at 5,400 for the last 2 guys, which gets you to where you can play good guys again. So I don't know. Like, I'm going to play him. I mean, I understand if people don't, though, because he definitely could get 0. It's definitely in the realm. I think he gets more, though, if I had to guess. I mean, he got all the key minutes. I think the only way he doesn't get more is if Gary Harris is really good and hits shots and plays good D. Then he's not going to put PJ in over Gary Harris if he's playing good. But Gary Harris sucks. So, I mean, if he doesn't play good, I think PJ gets that run.
See, that's the problem with the Denver Nuggets, though, is he's not the only one that's tied to if a guy does well. A lot of these guys outside of Jokic and Jamal Murray really are tied to, like, if a player isn't doing well, like Paul Millsap, for instance. So, like, you know that Malone, if he's playing well, wants to put in Millsap. It's like the excuse. Oh, Millsap's doing good enough. We keep him in there. Oh, he's not playing well. We're pulling him early, and maybe he doesn't see any run in the second quarter or whatever. So, like, a lot of these guys' minutes are tied to how most of these starters do outside of the 2 studs, which for Showdown is really good because that's tough to project. Like, you don't know if Gary Harris is going to come out and just have a terrible game.
Mike Malone doesn't
that. That's what I mean, though. Like, you don't know if Paul Millsap's going to come out and be solid, or if he's going to come out and throw a stinker. Like, we can't project that. So that is a guessing game, right? You can say, though, oh, Jokic has a tough matchup, I'm going to fade him. That makes sense. So you can say, like, I like Jamal Murray as well. I think, like you said, Jamal Murray, this slate, he makes the most sense. Like, he's going to erupt one of these games where he just has one of those 50-point games, like he's done in the last 2 series. That's coming. It wouldn't shock me if it was tonight, but I do like him. He's one of my favorite captains today. I will throw it out there. And on FanDuel, where you got the MVP star pro, I like throwing him at the MVP. I think that's going to make you very different from a lot of people because you don't get the salary adjustment like on DK. Obviously, if you throw someone cheaper, in your MVP or your captain spot or whatever, you obviously get like however much they cost more, whereas on FanDuel, you can throw anyone you want up there and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't take away from your salary either way. So most people will just throw LeBron, AD, and I mean, even Jokic, and they're all great plays, but I just think Murray is going to be the one that's left out on FanDuel. So I think you can get some leverage on the field if you throw Murray in your MVP slot on FanDuel.
Who is the Taysom Hill of tonight's Showdown slate, Big T?
Oh, God, Taysom Hill. Tony, how excited were you when you got that 1 yard handoff at the very beginning of the game? You must have thought like
it's
it
even
was
worse
over
though,
for everyone.
because on the bet side, I can say it now. I put a bet up on the bet side, 22-1 to score the first touchdown, and they give it to him on the inch line. Oh man! And then the whole slate. I mean, if that touchdown's in, basically all those teams are meant to. So it hurt my feelings. I'll be honest, it hurt my feelings. Him getting. And the worst part about it too, I think he scored. It's just they didn't challenge it because they were still on the inch line and they just ran it in. I mean, I'm pretty sure if they reviewed it, he was in. Like, it was close, and that was tilting. But yeah, tonight,
it was one of those where he knew they were getting in.
Yeah,
he knew the next play they were getting in.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Titletown said I think he got in too. I'm almost positive he got in, but I understand why they didn't.
Yep, I think he got in. I think he got screwed on that one.
And it's huge for Showdown because the dude is free. Like, once you get that touchdown, you're just sitting good. And on top of it, he's the guy that they need to be playing from ahead for him to get more work. Like, he's not going to be in there when they're down 10, 14 points. He's in there when they're winning and they're running all these gimmicky type stuff. So that hurt too. Everything kind of compounded on that. But tonight, I mean, the play is Dozier as far as the Taysom play. I mean, he's cheap. On FanDuel, he's 6,500, which is down there with the dudes that don't even play. So that helps. I like on FanDuel, I always like to try to get different. If you can somehow get one of those stars out of the top three, like say we played MPJ in the second spot and he somehow gets hot and catches run or something. And this is strictly for the whatever it is tonight. What is this big one? There's a big one up there. I'm talking strictly not
200K.
200K up top. And it's $9.
Yeah, $9.99 or something like that.
$9.99. So the same strategies I'm talking about for football in the Showdown package. Not in the 333, not in the single entries, not in the cash games necessarily, but in the $9.99 where it's $1 million prize pool, 200K up top. You can do something crazy to solo ship, like put MPJ in the top spot or the second spot. And if he catches that run and somehow just goes off with just a crazy upside game, no one has that, and it gives you a chance to be unique. And yeah, you're probably most of the time you're going to lose your $9.99, like without a doubt. But you'll have a chance to be unique and ship. It all depends on how much risk. If you want to min cash, just put the 3 stars up there. Boom, boom, boom. Play 2 cheap guys like everyone else does and chop it 10,000 ways. Like, do that. That's fine if that's the way you want to do it. But if you want to have a chance to have a fun night and just do something crazy, you can even put Kuzma in too. And who knows the game? Maybe it's a blowout and they both catch blowout run. Honestly, like, what if it's a 30-point game? Kuzma and MPJ play the whole fourth quarter or a lot of the fourth quarter. There's lots of scenarios where your unique team gets all the way to the top for 200K. And I'm not saying to go crazy with it and do it on a ton of teams, but fire $10, $20 in there and try a few things like that, because they do have the upside if they catch the right run.
All right, guys, let's get out of here. We got lock in like 42 minutes for baseball, so let's do that. We just hit 150. Good job, guys. Who is Jay Gentile? I don't know. I just hit that, and that's who popped up. So Jay Gentile, if you are still watching, info at Run Pure Sports, or just hit up Big T on Twitter. So it's as simple as that. All right, guys. Good show.
I need to talk about Sparty, because Sparty said Gary Harris sucks. LMAO. Who hired this guy? I hired myself, Sparty. What do you mean who hired this guy? I'll say Gary Harris sucks all I want on here.
Did you hired this guy? All right, guys. I'm getting out of here.
He does suck.
Quick plug for me. My football, my early week position previews are out there. Just checking out some spots in the NFL. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver should be up today. Tight end tomorrow. And then I got the Old Guys podcast, The Wishbone, with G Risen and my man Uncle T. So look for that coming out late tonight, early tomorrow. JSU, what do you got going on, buddy?
Not much. Make sure you check out all, Holden stuff. And then he forgot did you say the video that's coming out tomorrow with you, Mangone, and Jay?
About that one. Jeez.
Yeah, talking. Make sure you guys check that video out. That video was great last week. They hit on like 3 or 4 games. They talked from both the sports betting side and the DFS side. So definitely check that one out. You got some great early info for NFL.
Big T? I mean, come on. You need to hire some people that know what the hell they're talking about on this show.
That is good stuff. But yeah, we got it all going on. I mean, we're right back to football on Thursday. Like I said, Tuesday, Wednesday, I lay a little bit low, but we're still on here giving winners today. And we got plenty of stuff going on. Holden's videos, the Old Guys podcast has been really good. We got it all going on here. It's a lot of fun stuff.
All right, guys and ladies, good luck tonight. We'll catch you later.